Hello, my friends. Long time, no video. I haven't seen y'all forever or done a video forever. And gosh, it's just nice to do this again. And it's my fault. I know it's totally in my control, but man, sometimes life happens. You just get busy. But man, so much has happened in car collecting and in my life of collecting all that since the last time I did one of these. Um, I meant to do one with Ryan with Card Collector 2 when he came to visit. I've had some other folks come visit, and it's just my fault. I just get busy. And on that note, if you all DM me on Instagram or any other time, and I've been slow getting back to you or so on, realize this: sometimes when I get DMs and it so many, if I post a crazy card or something, and it'll push folks down, and a lot of them I get are like, "Hey man, can you give me that? Can you give me that card?" and all this stuff. And others are like people that I normally chat with, and it just gets pushed down. And then you get home at 11 o'clock at night sometimes from working with kids, and it just anyway, no good excuse. But I just don't want anybody to think if I haven't DM'd you back quickly, it's not because I don't like you. Trust me, I enjoy chatting about this stuff. If I could do it all day, I would. But um, into cool cards. Man, I know I'm in the minority on this, clearly, but I love the National Treasures in Immaculate from Panini that's come out that has guys in their college jerseys. Now, thinking about my life and what it's involved, working at Kentucky basketball, all of these different things, being a Southern guy where college sports are much a bigger deal, um, stuff like this, like I know my man Norman would love that one. Amari Cooper and TJ Yeldon, and then stuff like this. Carl and Willie, my guys, Duke, Winslow, Conley and Gurley, things like this. I love it because for us who spend so much time down south watching and following these college careers, especially in football, when you know they're there, and once they leave, if they have a great career, Randall Cobb will always be a Wildcat. Ty Gurley will always be a Bulldog. All of these different things. While team in the pros, free agency changed everything. So to me, this is great, and it's my focus, which I always talk about, and I want to talk about a little bit here. But this stuff, I adore it. I can't wait to do more. I'm interested on the baseball stuff because I don't know as much about the baseball guys in college, but Benintendi I know is a popular one, and then Bregman. I got my buddy Joey down in Louisiana who loves some LSU stuff. But I'm waiting to see. I wonder if they blow up and like Chris Bryant or Schwarber or one of those guys, if their college stuff will rise as high. Um, I always talk with Ryan and some other guys about this. It's really interesting to me. And it's why I focus on basketball. It's not why I focus on basketball, but it's makes it more fun for me on basketball. That for some reason the basketball prices are just so much crazier than the football prices. Not that they're not really expensive, crazy football cards out there, but an Odell Beckham rookie guy blows up. He's doing awesome, and his immaculate RPA or National Treasures RPA goes for $400 to $1,000 or something like that. Really expensive. And then Stephen Curry National Treasures is $14,000 graded a 9. That to me is amazing. It's just the basketball ceiling is so high, and I think there are lots and lots of different reasons for that. I think longer careers. Football guys are wearing helmets. You don't get as acquainted with their faces as much, though it's different a little bit now with social media. I think the global market for basketball drives those prices up because I've sent some overseas when I was selling more. They will pay anything. A lot of them will for that kind of stuff. But anyway, it's just baffling to me that some of this stuff goes really high. I'll be very interested to see if this college jersey stuff goes as well for Carl Towns and other guys like that. I don't think it will, but it doesn't matter. It's what I love. And that kind of gets back to the focus thing, which I always get these DMs saying, how can I make my collection like yours? How can I make my collection like yours? Well, I've been blessed. I mean, there's no question. And I've also worked hard to get to my point, when I was 15, 25, 30, I didn't have a collection like this. And then did some things in my life that allowed me to afford more. But also, there came a point, there's one year when I had more money and I was able to buy more, and I just bought everything. I just was everything. Gold standard, absolute, this, that, you name it, tops, everything. And then I kind of realized at the end of the year, I was like, even if you had all the money in the world, all of it, you couldn't get all the good cards. You'd fill up 7 of these rooms. I mean, this room's crazy. I know it's ridiculous, and I know it's absurd. Trust me. But even if you had all the money in the world and you bought out as many great cards that year at one time as you could, you'd still sit back and you go, well, so I got all these guys, but they're half of these guys I don't care about. Like, I have no attachment to them. I may have watched them. I may have seen something that I liked in them on a play on the Sports Center, but I've got this $1,000 rookie card of this guy who, is a, Seattle Seahawk out there, and I'm down here in the South, and it's like, I've never seen him play. I don't know. So at some point, you have to say, what is my focus? And then go be great at that thing that you love collecting. And that's what I love to do. And that's why when the college stuff came out as a Kentucky fan, and I was collecting all the Kentucky Pro cards I could, that I was like, oh, well, now I'll be smart with my money on this and smart with my trading on this, where I don't need Carl Towns absolute in his Timberwolves uniform and a gold standard and a Don Russ and a hoops. And I was like, no, I'd rather put more money and get his Kentucky Immaculate card or his Kentucky National Treasures card. And I love that more than having all the, like, 10 of the other ones. Now, and that being said, there's a pretty awesome thing I picked up. I wanted to show you all. And this was long before I was born. But you might have seen that movie Glory Road when the all-black team, Texas El Paso, back then it was called Texas Western, beat the all-white Kentucky team, which was the best thing that could have ever happened. Number one, from a social justice standpoint, that's why the job I work is the job I work, which with foster kids, but also from what it did for basketball, where really opened people's eyes to we don't segregation is bad, which they should have known lots earlier. But anyway, so people say, well, don't you hate seeing that when Kentucky loses? And it's like, no, it's like if you ever watch Pat Riley, who was on that team, that Kentucky team, interviewed about it. He talks about what a wonderful thing it was. Of course, you hate losing the game, but it was overall the big picture, what it's done. It opened the doors for Anthony Davis to be at Kentucky and Kenny Walker, and back to guys that I knew when I was young. But anyway, there was an estate auction for the guy who was the radio announcer for Kentucky back when Adolph Rupp was the coach, a long time ago, obviously 40s, 50s, early 60s, or mid 60s, and was able to get the microphone. This is pretty crazy. A 1940s, 50s, and 60s microphone. It looks like a ray gun, but it stands up like that. His microphone and full microphone set that they use. And this stuff is like, man, you talk about technology coming a long way, right? And this does have a point, I promise, that he used to call that game, and got a letter from his son saying this was my dad's favorite microphone. It's a big piece of Kentucky history, basketball history. It's a huge piece of college basketball history. It's a piece of American history, just a little piece of it, but it's cool. But so I usually don't like to talk about prices and what stuff costs, but this cost $600. To me, that was, I could afford it, and it was a no-brainer. You say, well, with $600, I could have gone and got an Andrew Wiggins very rare card, or I could have gotten a, Peyton Manning this, or Andrew Luck 9.5 this. And it's like, yeah, that would be a great card and a great thing. But my focus is Kentucky basketball and basketball history. And that's why I'm saying, if you had all the money and you could buy all this other stuff, this to me means way more than a very rare Andrew Wiggins card that everybody would ooh and ah over. But this goes into my Kentucky museum, and it's a guy that my father listened to growing up, and it's Glory Road, and we can watch that movie and say, well, it's a piece of that. So that kind of focus is to me what makes card collecting fun. It's half of it, right? Having stuff that has an emotional attachment to you, and the other half is sharing. And I know I'll get lots of stuff like I was saying. It's like, can you give me this? Can you give me this? And I try and give stuff to people when I can, or give certain things away to people that I've gotten to know, where I know that if I'm giving them something, it's not just going to be turned around and flipped and sold. And that's fine if you do. I mean, I get it. Sometimes you do. But it's much more fun to give to somebody that you know that they will cherish that as part of their collection, like giving uh, Ryan Card Collector to a D'Angelo Russell Ohio State thing because he loves Ohio State, or Big Hurt something Chicago Bears or Ohio State, or Bay Area Cards 13 Rob give him something from Navy or San Francisco Giants. Because to me, it's not my focus, and it may be awesome, like Derek. Who many of y'all know, who gave me a lot of Michael Kidd Gilchrist cards. I'm sending him this. He and his sister are collecting Steven Adams, and this is Steven Adams Gold Rookie 9510. I could sell that and go buy some more Kentucky cards, sure. Um, but doing pretty well in Kentucky stuff. So if half of my belief in what makes card collecting great is focus and emotional attachment, and the other half is sharing, it's much better to take this and send it to somebody who will absolutely love it and adore it and do something within his family and great. And we never met in person. So to me, it's to answer that question of, how do I make my collection like yours and this and that? Well, first of all, the best advice I can give is the earlier you can find your focus, the better. And know that it'll change some here and there. Like as new players emerge, awesome. I loved Kevin Durant. And I can't get all the Kevin Durant cards, and people always say, "Oh, you got this great collection." You can't compare collections. It's an absolute waste of time. I don't know if you've ever seen the guy that has all the Kevin Durant logo names. Like I could never get all those cards that this guy's got, but it's not a competition. So what do I love? I love Kevin Durant Seattle Supersonics rookies. I just love it because I loved Seattle as a kid for various reasons. So that's what I like to get here and there. Um, but those things make it fun. Now, you can't. New emerging players will come. So your collection, just because you say this is what my focus is now when I'm young, it doesn't mean that it's not ever going to change and that's all you're going to collect. Because new things will happen. And if you have a focus like the Minnesota Timberwolves or the Kentucky Wildcats, more players will come, and then you can branch your way out. But it means you can hold on to other stuff loosely that become valuable to other people. That, yeah, it's a good card, and sometimes it's hard to trade that Andrew Wiggins away or that Okafor great card away. But when I sit back and think, I say, I can trade this away because it's not what I love. So my advice to those saying, how do I build my collection like yours? Find a focus early that has room to grow, and don't be afraid to let go of a big card if at least it's going towards your focus. So yeah, you're gonna have times, and I've got plenty of them when I let go of cards, and I'm like, oh man, that card went from $100 to $3,000, and you just are a little sick. But at least when I did trade it away, I got something that I'll always love regardless for it because I got this Kentucky thing or whatever. So it kind of eases that sting a little bit. And then the other part is to be smart. If you